Rob, we talked earlier about CJ Stroud and his interview with Gilly the Kid and others on $1 Million Worth of Game. And he said some strong stuff. He said that Matthew Stafford would have won 3 or 4 championships, Super Bowls, had he been in Green Bay instead of Aaron Rodgers. And he said as well that he was asked, Rob, whose career he would rather have between Eli Manning and Aaron Rodgers. A lot of Aaron Rodgers theme stuff that was going on. But here he is.
If you had to pick a career to have, I'm going to have Aaron Rodgers' career or I'm going to have Eli Manning's career. Who career are you taking?
You want the rings, dog. You don't want
That's all that matters, the rings.
Eli got 2.
Did Gilly the Kid agree with him? I mean, it sounded like it, but okay.
He's very anti-Aaron Rodgers if you watch any of that podcast.
Oh, wow. Rob,
it sounds like that's the whole show. I mean, that's his thing.
Well, you know what else he said? What else, Roger? He said something else about Rodgers, and we're not going to do the whole Rodgers thing, but what was the other thing?
CJ Stroud, you mean? Well, yeah. Gilly the Kid was kind of leading him in some ways because he really doesn't like Rodgers. He's overhyped, overrated. But CJ Stroud, what you're alluding to, he was talking about his relationship with Tom Brady, and Tom Brady's a big mentor of his. Right. And he said Tom Brady, one thing he taught him is that, take care of your teammates because ultimately it's a team game, and if they're happy, things are going to go well for you. And he said the difference between Brady and Rodgers is I don't know if Rodgers has that relationship with his teammates.
Yeah. So he was, he better back it up. That's all I got to say when you talk like that. And I like him, but you got to back it up. But Rob, where are you at on whose career would you rather have, Eli Manning's or Aaron Rodgers?
It's not even close. I take Aaron Rodgers all the way. It's different if you never won. I always say that. If you never won, then you could look at it and say, man, Dan Marino, some people thought he was GOAT. He never won. He went to Super Bowl his second year in his career, never went back. Okay, I get it. You would want a chance at winning, Chris, to put the icing on the cake, the cherry on top, whatever you want, especially the kind of career that Dan Marino had.
That's an interesting discussion. Marino's career or Eli's. Because like you said, Marino didn't get one.
And that's what I'm saying. He didn't get one. I just, when a guy's an all-pro and all this, and I just can't really look at that and say, and I think Eli deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I think because he beat the Patriots, the 18-0 Patriots, and all those other things. And I give him credit for the 2 big throws he had, but the bodies of work just are mismatched. They just are a mismatch.
Rob, it's not. Like you said, it's not even close. I mean, I'm sorry. And a shout out to Eli because he had 2 incredible playoff runs and some magical moments.
Chris, 2 big ones. Am I right? Like 2 big throws.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But come on. There is no way I would rather be Eli Manning in terms of his career than Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, for only having 1 Super Bowl, and that's good, but he got only the 1 Super Bowl, he's still in the discussion, firmly in the discussion, Rob, for top 5 quarterback of all time.
Yes.
He's got 4 MVPs, and let's keep it real. All of us, yes, we want to win, but we also want to excel individually, right? Michael Jordan, there's a couple stories about him, right? One was he wanted to win, but he wanted to be the reason they won, right? And another one was when Tex Winter one time, when Jordan was coming, it was a timeout and Jordan's coming off the court. I don't know, maybe he took a bunch of shots or something. And Tex Winter said, Michael, there's no I in team. And Jordan said, but there's an I in win. Right? And Rob, look, I told you, I was a role player when I played basketball in college. And yeah, as a role player, I just want to win. I wasn't worried about how many points I got or what, because I was your role player. I was just playing good D, want to help the team win. All right? But when you are a star, like when you got star ability, you don't want to just go somewhere and average 12 points a game and win a championship. You want to win a championship, sure, but you want to be able to fulfill your individual potential. And I think everybody feels that way. And so I look, Aaron Rodgers, I talked earlier about, the disappointments in NFC title games and all that. But the fact is, 4 MVPs, that's second most all time, right? To Peyton Manning's 5.
Yep.
One of the top 5 quarterbacks or so ever, and does have a Super Bowl. You can't say he's not a winner. So it ain't even close.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
That's just an agenda there that maybe that's what they want or whatever. And it's fine if you think Eli, that you would take that career. But even you look at Peyton Manning. Chris, the second one he got, was that really Eli? I mean, Peyton Manning, the second one.
No, I mean, he gets made, and he gets big time credit for that, Rob.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Like, you're right.
What, I guess 103 yards? I mean, he just didn't play that
one.
well.
Despite him. There's no question about that. Are you kind of saying, now I think Peyton Manning
I'm not saying, I'm just
better
saying,
than Rodgers,
I'm
but
just talking about I'm talking about the second one.
There's a very small difference between them in terms of championships. I will give you that.
Yeah, that's all. I'm just saying, like there's one where you win and you're great, and people look at it and go, "My God!" And there's another one,
even
Chris.
if you aren't great, you're in your prime. You're a driving force for the team all year. Even if you had a bad game, and Manning was not a driving force for them all year. Dude, I mean, he struggled that year.
He got benched that year for what was that? Brock? What was that guy's name?
Yeah, I know who you.
You know who I'm talking about, Chris?
Yeah. So yeah, I feel, but you're right. People don't seem to really think about that when they think of Peyton. They just think of the 2 Super Bowls. But yeah, he really struggled.
Eli's 2 Super Bowls are more impressive, Chris, than Peyton's.
Well, the games,
I'm talking about his Super Bowl.
Yes, the games he played. Yeah. I agree.
Both.
I mean, obviously, you'd rather. Would you? Whose career would you rather have between those?
No, I would take Peyton Manning with 5 MVPs, but I'm just saying, if you're just looking at the Super
games,
Bowl, right?
I mean, it's almost, Rob. Almost, it's not apples to apples necessarily, but it's almost like saying, would you rather be David Tyree or Calvin Johnson?
Right.
And I know Johnson didn't even win a Super Bowl, but my point is,
didn't win a playoff game.
He's an all-time great, right? He's an all-time great receiver, and Tyree, obviously wasn't MVP of that game, but made this historic catch in the Super Bowl. I just saw him last week at breakfast. My wife and I.
Did you really?
Yeah, he's here in Jersey. So, we're pretty good friends.
The bad part is he walks around with a football stuck to his helmet. You know what I'm saying? So people will recognize.
No. But
sorry about that. Sorry, Charles.
Yeah. That don't say that on sports rap radio. They're gonna start calling it sports whack radio.
So look at you, already giving us a bad name. Why are you gonna do that?
Not y'all.
You gonna put that put that out there.
Shoot. But no, I mean it's not even close. And I've heard people, Rob, I think sometimes people almost are unable to have a nuanced discussion. Because when we talk about whether it's Jordan, LeBron, or whether it's Brady versus whoever, when you bring rings into it, which is a factor, some people just hear that conversation and now to them, Rob, it's just rings. It's nothing else. It's just rings. We're never saying that. We're saying that is a legitimate part of the discussion, and it's a meaningful part of the discussion, an important one, but it's not the only part. And so I just think this is a situation where it seems like, I mean, CJ just even said, you want them rings. You want those rings. Now, I like that he's got that attitude because I think he's more talented than Eli. And maybe he'll be a big winner and put up the individual numbers. That'd be great. But, I mean, like I said, Rob, the interesting one is Marino or Eli. That's an interesting conversation.
No, that's one where you would have to, because Dan Marino was a legendary passer of the football, because way before it became what we're watching today.
He was putting up today's numbers back when nobody else was coming close to that. I also think Terry Bradshaw or Aaron Rodgers. I think I go Bradshaw. He's got, of course, the 4 Super Bowls. I think he won 1 MVP. He was not individually as good as Rodgers, but
nobody. You know what? Terry Bradshaw doesn't get the love for 4 Super Bowls. He just doesn't.
Really? I think he does.
I never hear him mention.
How do you think he doesn't? He's not mentioned as like a top 5 quarterback because he wasn't.
Right, that's what I mean.
But he is viewed as like this. He is like a legend beyond what his individual, just take away the winning. His individual performance didn't warrant the love he gets. And obviously he's gotten a lot of love as a broadcaster. He's done a great job with that. But I do think he's viewed as like a legend because of the 4 rings. And he was great in those Super Bowls a lot. Like, he made some great throws to Lynn Swann and John Stallworth and all that. But yeah, that is an interesting one as well. All right.